welcome to a Jungle Cruise tradition. Everyone raise up your right hand. Repeat after me. I hope. We do. Come back. I know, I'm really sorry about that. Welcome aboard, everyone. My name is Susan. I'm going to be your skipper, your alligator wrestler, and yes, your swimming instructor today. We're going to start our adventure right here on Amazon. Everything about the Amazon appears larger than life, like those butterflies right over there. Their wings can measure 12 inches.
Wave to them.
Look, they jump. Do you like that? You guys, check it out.
I am trying to get up there.
Come on.
Zoom in and film. I'll warn you when not to flip.
We'll do the dance again, Steven.
Strawberry shortcake without the cake and without the puff.
Like strawberry ice cream without the cream.
Search and rescue dogs.
I don't think he's supposed to be climbing in the trees, is he? Back up a little bit. Now show me your dance. Yeah.
Yes, man.
But still being written. And though each of us has our own individual stories to tell, a true adventure emerges when we bring them all together as one. I hope you enjoy our story tonight, Reflections of Earth.
Battery to take the whole thing? Maybe not the whole thing, but enough. The fire part in the beginning, anyway. focusing on it. It's pretty. I think it rotates around.
It's getting larger though.
No, it's moving towards us. Holy damn.
He's got a much clearer image of this, so I bet if you look at the up there.
Doesn't pick up those images because they're like TV projection. The digital isn't good.
Optical film.
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls, the Disney characters are here and ready to meet lots of new friends. So
One of us want to wait in line, one of us want to get food.
They exit their bus, and be sure to wait your turn and be considerate of others, so our Disney characters will be able to meet as many folks as possible. Thank you
Come on,
for
Stephanie,
your
hold my hand.
cooperation.
Beautiful, thank you.
Do I do the whole?
Can we make our way over to Peru?
One lucky bear. I thought you wanted. We're going to USA. It's right. It's on the other side of Japan. Goofy. Great.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on, Rick. It's okay.
Phony king of England.
With the Japanese scroll behind him. Steven? Okay, thanks. Thanks, got it. It's a blue sulfur swallowtail. No, it'll fly away.
Nah, I think I can catch it.
What in the heck? Oh,
Lens cap.
there we go. Watch out, Peter.
Is this okay with you guys for this? Hey, the backyard. We're already going in there.
You get the picture, Dad?
The only guys you didn't get was Baloo the Bear and Minnie Mouse.
There, it's recording. Now aim it where you want.
You did like that?
Yeah.
The whole time?
No, not necessarily, Mom.
Did the robot spray you?
Nope. No, I was not looking.
Good.
It was in the middle.
Good.
No, in the middle of the back.
Oh, how was the back?
It was fun. Yeah.
What's the best part?
Probably going high speed. Probably going sideways.
Yeah?
How about through the barricade?
Sort of fun. What about the cones? Yeah, the cones are pretty bad. Yeah, because and know what? We didn't even knock over a single cone.
Whoever was driving was doing a bang up.
Nobody was driving.
Nobody was.
Yeah, because there's no
Now watch this part when I'm done videotaping.
pedaler.
Let's see if we can get the mirror image here.
Sometimes people come back.
Someday.
One day.
Here it comes.
Right to space, there we go.
I got That's not because the ground is sharp. Because in Japan, as a sign of respect, when you go into buildings, take off your shoes and you leave them outside. And you go in just your feet with socks. And the floor in a lot of the temples and a lot of the shrines is made of stone, so it's cold. So the book that I read said, bring warm socks if you're going into the temples, otherwise your feet will be cold when you have to take off your shoes. So, okay. Should we learn a few words before we go so that we can get around? How do you say hello? You say konnichiwa with a little bit of a bow in your head. Konnichiwa, everyone say that. Konnichiwa. Good. Konnichiwa. How about sayonara? Sayonara. That's goodbye. And when you say hello and goodbye, you give a little bow. Konnichiwa or sayonara. That's how they show respect. There's a lot of people in Japan, they don't like to get into fights. So they have a lot of customs. They have a lot of customs that help them understand each other so that they don't hurt each other's feelings. And that's one thing they do is they give a little bow when they say hello and goodbye. How about thank you? Arigato. If someone hands you something, you hand with two hands with a little bow and you say arigato. Arigato. Okay? Okay, now it's a 13-hour flight to Japan, so you're all ready. You all have water and drinks and snacks and Game Boys and stuff to play with on the plane. It'll take a long time. Okay? Get your passports. Ready? Let's fly. Kyoto used to be the capital for thousands of years. Japan's history goes back more than 9,000 years. That's a long time. And almost all the people in Japan are Japanese. Remember when you did your family studies and everyone brought in a map of where their ancestors were from? We all consider ourselves Americans, but some people are Italian or German or Polish or whatever. Everybody in Japan is Japanese. They've been there for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So Tokyo is a city of very old customs and traditions and also very new. The younger people in Tokyo and Japan, they like to listen to American rock and roll music and they wear jeans and you know, they like the newer American culture. But the traditional people wear a kimono. You see the little girl on the front is wearing a kimono. The men wear these too. They aren't as colorful. They're sort of brown and black. They look kind of like a Jedi robe. But that's what a kimono looks like. It's a long robe with a big sash that ties in the back, and that's traditional clothing. And they still wear those things when they go to holidays in their shrines and temples. Let's see. We're in Tokyo. When we're taking a tour of Tokyo, we can go eat some sushi for breakfast. And we can tour around and we can see the Meiji Shrine. This is a picture on the front of the shrine. It's a big shrine. That's very typical of the architecture there. It's very beautiful. In Japan, beauty is very important. They try to make all their buildings beautiful. Even their food, they try to make it beautiful. They like to celebrate things that are beautiful and changing of the seasons. It's really important. Okay. We've seen what there is to see. What else is there in Tokyo? Oh, in Tokyo you can go to Tokyo Disneyland. Or you can go to Joyopolis, which is a Sega Disney. It's like Disney, but it's Sega. Sega video games come from there. They have a whole park. That'd be fun, huh? Yeah. Sega. Sega Land.
That's why they make all those video games in Japan.
A lot of video games are made in Japan. Also, a lot of cars are made in Japan. The other things they grow a lot of rice in Japan, and they eat a lot of fish. Why do you think they eat a lot of fish?
Because they're in the middle of the ocean.
Piers?
Because they're in the middle of the ocean.
Because they're in the middle of the ocean. They're an island, so they eat a lot of fish. They even have a holiday somewhere around here. This little sheet tells you about the national holidays. In July, they have Marine Day, where they celebrate the importance of the ocean in their life. They eat a lot of fish there. On New Year's Day is their most important holiday. They ring the bells in the temple 108 times. And the whole country has a vacation for 2 weeks at New Year's. It's their biggest holiday. Okay, now, we're going to leave Tokyo. We're going to go up to Kyoto. And we're going to go see Mount Fuji. This is their tallest mountain. It's a volcano. There are a lot of volcanoes in Japan. There are a lot of earthquakes in Japan, 1,000 earthquakes a year. Because they're on this, has anyone ever heard of this Pacific Ring of Fire? Where there's lots of earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. Japan is right on there. So they have volcanoes, earthquakes, hot springs, that kind of stuff. So we're going to get on the Shinkansen. Here's a picture of the Shinkansen. It's their high-speed train. 125 miles an hour. Up to the mountain to go hiking and go on the hot springs. You ready? Everybody, hyperspace! because there's heat in the ground from all that lava. It makes the water percolate up, and it's kind of like being in a hot tub, but it's just natural. So there's a little picture, it's a very small picture of a couple of people sitting in an onsen, that's a Japanese hot bath. The Japanese people love to go up and enjoy these hot baths. They think it's very therapeutic for their bodies, and it helps you feel better and even heal you maybe. We're not doing that part in the class, okay? Okay. That's why the men go in one and the women go on the other. Okay? There's some other things to be careful of in Japan. Just little custom things. Remember how I said the Japanese don't like to hurt each other's feelings because there's so many of them? So it's important when you go there that you try to follow some of their customs. They don't like to stand around, they don't like to see you standing around with your arms crossed. They think it's offensive, or with your hands in your pockets. It's insulting. You don't ever want to blow your nose when you're out in public. And never at the table when you're eating, don't blow your nose. Okay? They think it's disgusting. It offends them. Okay, you always remember to make a little bow when you say hello and goodbye. Okay? Let's see, what else can I tell you about Japan? They use chopsticks for eating. We'll use some chopsticks next week. I have them, but we're not going to use them today. Then we have some of their art. This is origami. Origami is the art of paper folding. We did this in Mrs. Ressler's class, but it was really, really hard. It was very hard. It took a long time. I have some easier origami projects in the suitcase to take home. These are little paper cranes, and there's a story in Japan of a little girl called Sadako, and Sadako had leukemia, which is a really, really bad cancer, and she got it from when we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. So everybody ever heard of that, or watched any of see any of the war movies that were on this weekend? In World War II, one of the last things we did was to drop a big bomb on Hiroshima in Japan. And the radiation from that gave a lot of people cancer. And this one little girl, Sadako, had cancer. And there's a legend in Japan that if you fold 1,000 of these little paper cranes, that the gods will heal you. So she folded 1,000 of these. And they're hard. You ask anybody in Mrs. Ressler's class, they would not want to fold 1,000 of these, let me tell you. They're hard. But here, you pass these around. No, it took a long time, and they didn't really enjoy it. They really didn't. Okay, there's those little birds with no weapons or tools or anything. They just had to use their hands and their body to learn how to fight and defend themselves. And that's where karate came from. Karate means empty hand. Kara is empty and te is hand. Because they had empty hands, they had no tools. And the people there were really severe. They would pound their hands into the sand and pound their foreheads into the sand until they had big, rough calluses on their heads and their hands, so that if they hit you, they could really hurt you. I mean, it was, they were trying to do some damage. That was the only way they had to protect themselves. But we still study karate today because it's a good form of exercise and discipline. It takes a lot of practice. It takes years to be good at it and to really be efficient at it. And just a minute. So Stephen and Peter both study, so I wanted to show you that you don't have to be a grown-up to study karate. You can start studying when you're young. But they have to show a lot of respect in karate class. If they do any shenanigans or someone's talking, they do push-ups. Okay? Sometimes 10, sometimes 5. So when he comes into karate class, show what you do. You come in, you take your shoes off, because you always take your shoes off as a sign of respect. You take your shoes off first, yes, before you enter. Take your shoes off. Keep doing it. And then what do you do when you come in to show respect for the area where you're going to learn? And the kids do this in the classroom too. What do you do when you come in through the doorway? You bow and say us, which means yes, I understand. And then you go in and you bow to your sensei. That's the teacher, the sensei. And then you take your seat. So
the teacher bows back, I think, doesn't it?
Probably. Usually it's customary to return a bow. And depending on how much respect you have to show or how important the person is, your bow can be deeper and longer, but usually just a little head bow is good enough. Yes, Spiros?
I studied a little karate with my uncle.
That's great. It's tough, isn't it? It's hard. Peter and Stephen have to practice every single day if they want to get better at it. Gabriella?
My cousin, he made lots of these.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it, but it's not easy. Okay.
He made one huge
I have some money. The money in Japan is called yen. I have some coins. I don't have any paper dollars. Next week when our speaker comes in, she may have others. But here, you know what? I'll leave them in the bag and pass them around. Here's some yen. The language they speak is Japanese. And I have some, what else was I going to show? I have some snacks. Anybody ever seen these guys before?
Yeah.
Pokemon.
5.
Yeah.
Pokemon, they come from Japan.
I knew that.
We've
So
got
does
some,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
so does Yu-Gi-Oh. So I have some snacks to pass out and some green tea. This is green tea. It's very good.
5. 2 points gone.
This is green tea. This is very typical Japanese tea. They like lots of teas, but green tea is very common. And recently they found that green tea is good for allergies and it even helps fight cancer. It's got some good stuff in it. It's good for your body. So I have some of that and I have some snacks to pass around.
Dad gave it to me.
And I'm giving